Ever feel like you're just drowning in information these days? Like you're just constantly bombarded with articles and reports and emails, and you're never going to reach the surface.
Yeah.
It's like, who actually has time to process all of that, right?
Totally.
Well, today's deep dive is all about a potential life raft in this sea of information overload.
Okay.
There's this really clever new framework called SEGMENT+.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just another AI summary tool.
Right.
SEGMENT+ is designed to help AI make sense of these really long chunks of text.
Okay.
I'm talking like those research papers that, let's be honest, we all pretend to read,
Yeah.
those endless articles, those email threads that seem to have a life of their own.
Yeah.
So get ready, because we're going to unpack how this could totally change how you learn and work.
What I find fascinating about SEGMENT+ is that it's not just about making AI smarter, which is obviously, kind of a scary thought for some, but it's about making it think more like us.
Okay, so instead of just like cramming more information into an AI's brain, we're talking about teaching it to actually be smart about what it takes in and then how it uses that information.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond just this brute force approach to something more elegant, more, I guess you could say, human-like.
Okay, this has already blown my mind, but let's back up for a second. Why is dealing with these massive walls of text such a pain in the first place?
Well, think about it, right? Information's coming at us from every direction all the time. Key points are scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like our poor brains are just struggling to keep up.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder we feel overwhelmed and like we're constantly wasting time sifting through it all.
Yeah, it's like trying to find like one specific spice in like a really messy pantry.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's frustrating, and you usually end up finding something that you definitely don't need right now.
That's a great analogy. And honestly, the way that we've been tackling this problem so far using AI, it's had limitations.
Like what? Give me the rundown.
So you have what are called retrieval methods, which are kind of like, using the search function in a document, right?
Right.
But imagine you're searching a gigantic, disorganized warehouse. You might get lucky and find what you need, but, you're more likely to get distracted by all the other stuff in there.
Oh, I've been in that warehouse.
Right. And then we have what are called long context AI models.
Okay.
So imagine that same warehouse again, right?
Okay.
But this time it's even bigger.
Good.
Great, more stuff. But what if the one thing you need is buried under a mountain of other things?
Right.
And these models, as impressive as they are, they still have a limit to how much information they can actually handle effectively.
So it's like having a bigger hard drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're any better at like organizing all your files.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have memory management systems.
Okay.
And these are kind of trying to be more organized. It's like, meticulously labeling everything in that warehouse.
Right.
But these systems can get really complex. They often need a lot of input from us, from humans, which kind of defeats the purpose of having the AI help us in the first place.
So we need a whole new approach, which is where the SEGMENT+ comes in.
You got it. What makes SEGMENT+ different is that it's designed to address these pain points head on. It's like we're giving AI not just a bigger brain, but a way better system for organizing and using all that information.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Does SEGMENT+ have like a little AI notepad and a highlighter to tackle these mountains of information?
Well, not exactly a notepad and highlighter, but it does create these organized notes, kind of like we might do.
Okay.
And these notes have two really important parts. The first part is what the researchers call evidence.
So are we talking about like actual quotes or hard facts that it's pulling directly from the text?
You got it. Imagine like an AI highlighting the most important sentences in a textbook.
Okay.
And then you've got the second part of the note, which is called reasoning.
Okay, so is this where the AI gets to like show off a little bit?
Exactly. This is where it analyzes that evidence, makes connections, draws conclusions.
Cool.
Almost like, if you're taking notes, it's like you're jotting down explanations in the margins.
Right.
So it's not just memorizing, it's actually trying to understand.
That's a huge difference.
Huge difference. And that's what makes this structured approach so exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's designed to be more accurate, more efficient, and way less likely to get bogged down by all that extra information.
It's like having that like super organized study buddy who's like, here's what you need to know.
Exactly. And speaking of cutting through the noise, one of the ways that they tested SEGMENT+ was on something called long document question answering.
So like giving AI a massive open book exam.
Yeah, you could say that. They fed it these massive data sets based on scientific articles.
Oh, wow.
The ones that take like a week to read.
Yeah, exactly.
And Segment Plus just aced the test. Like, it consistently found the answers buried within these mountains of text.
Now that's what I call a research assistant. Forget digging through journals. I want an AI that can just summarize and answer questions about complex research for me.
And it gets even better.
Okay.
They also wanted to see how Segment Plus would handle a real needle in a haystack scenario.
Oh, no.
You know, think like those crazy long email threads or trying to find one tiny detail in like, a mountain of data.
Ugh, tell me about it.
Ugh.
It's like trying to find a lost contact lens in a swimming pool that's also filled with glitter.
Okay, that's a very specific analogy, but I get the picture. So
Yeah.
they were testing Segment Plus's ability to find and understand key information, even when it was surrounded by tons and tons of irrelevant stuff.
Don't leave me hanging. How'd it do?
It did incredibly well. Incredibly well. And the results were even more promising when they combined Segment Plus with these already really powerful AI models like GPT-4.
So the better the AI, the more it can benefit from like segment plus organizational skills.
Precisely.
That makes sense.
And here's another exciting finding. Segment Plus seemed to get even better as the amount of text increased.
Really?
Yeah, so, you know, most AI models kind of hit a wall at some point.
Right.
But Segment Plus's structured approach, it just makes it uniquely suited to handle the massive, massive amounts of information that we're dealing with in the real world.
This is seriously cool stuff. But let's bring it back down to earth for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean for those of us who, don't speak fluent AI? How does this change our day-to-day lives?
So we're talking about AI that could actually help us learn and work more efficiently. Where do I sign up?
Imagine just like blazing through your reading list.
Yo, man.
Absorbing information. Like you have a photographic memory.
Yeah.
And making these connections that you might have totally missed otherwise.
It'd be like having like a personal AI tutor for like everything.
In a way, yeah. This kind of technology could completely change how we approach, online research, education, professional development, even just like keeping up with the daily news.
Instead of getting lost in a million different articles, you could have AI pull out the most important points from all these different sources, compare different perspectives.
And then like synthesize it into something that we can actually like digest, which, let's be real, is something we all struggle with.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm not saying information overload is going to like magically disappear overnight.
Right.
But this kind of research is super promising.
Yeah.
Because it really highlights how important it is to teach AI, not just to process more information, which is what we've been focused on, but to actually process it in a smarter, more human-like way.
Yeah, it's like instead of just building a bigger, faster computer, we're actually trying to understand how our own brains learn and make sense of the world so we can like translate that to AI.
Exactly. And that opens up all these possibilities for AI tools that aren't just faster or more powerful, but actually genuinely more helpful in how we like live and navigate this increasingly complex information landscape.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up our deep dive on Segment Plus article, here's something I really want everyone listening to like sit with for a minute. How could this technology, this ability for AI to like truly understand and use these huge amounts of information effectively, change the way you approach, like learning or even just tackling those really complex tasks that you face every single day?
It's a big question.
It is a big question.
But it's definitely one worth thinking about.
Yeah, because the future of how we learn and work is being written right now, and AI, especially stuff like Segment Plus N, might be the next chapter.
For sure.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those possibilities. Until next time, keep asking those deep questions and diving into those fascinating topics. And remember, there's always more to learn.